Hi guys, how are you all today morning? Good morning. Today is 28th June 2023. My name is T.S.V. Raghavan and I live in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India. This is my spiritual vlog on YouTube. Haribol TRSV Nectar NECTAR Nectar. In this particular vlog, in all my previous videos, we have been discussing about the knowledge and information that we have gleaned through the study of spiritual books, scriptures, contemplation on the material universe, and meditation on the spiritual universe. This particular video in the vlog is no exception to that rule. In fact, it is a mere continuation of what we have been doing in all my previous videos. Kindly subscribe to this vlog and its videos so that I may keep reminding you of all my previous videos and other videos. So let us continue with the topic for today. For the last few videos, we have been discussing about the types of karma in the life of a human living entity, birth after birth, death after death. These are four types of karma. The first is called Sanchit karma, which is a storage of unworked out karma from the past few births of the living entity in his or her psyche. A slice of this Sanchit karma is brought by a human living entity into this world in a particular birth to be worked out in such a way that he or she can work out the complete karma in a particular birth. This slice of karma from Sanchit karma is known as prarabdha karma. However, destiny has allowed something called free will to every human living entity. When he or she takes birth according to his or her prarabdha karma, he or she is given a free will to work out his or her own karma in a particular living entity. Besides the already existing prarabdha karma, this human living entity goes around doing his or her own karma in the free will, and this particular karma, or the third category, is known as kriyamana karma. At the end of the life of a human living entity, a residue of his or her prarabdha karma, which he or she could not work out in this birth, along with the unworked part of his or her kriyamana karma, are joined together and then pasted into the already existing Sanchit karma. This fourth category of unworked Prarabdha and Kriyamana karma is known as Agami karma or future karma. This becomes a part of the already existing Sanchit karma so that in the next birth, the same human living entity, when he or she selects a slice, it includes this unworked prarabdha karma and the unworked kriyamana karma of this particular birth. Such a cycle goes on and on, birth after birth, death after death. We have been discussing about several case histories to vouch for our theory of karma. In that process, today we are going to discuss a particular case history which is not only enlightening and interesting but is also intriguing and stunning to say the least. In this particular case history, we begin with a complete set of families from Rayalaseema in India who settled down in the temple of Tiruvarur in Tamil Nadu district. That is, they settled down in the Tiruvarur district of Tamil Nadu to become very talented temple musicians who were employed in that Tiruvarur temple. Their village was called Tirukuvalai. In other words, this cluster of families from Rayalaseema came relocated to this village of Tirukuvalai in Tamil Nadu, which was near the Tiruvarur temple. They were expert musicians and so they were employed in that temple. In one of such families, on a June 1924 morning, one boy was born. Little did anyone, including this cluster of musicians from Rayalaseema, could have ever imagined the dizzy heights to which this boy would later go. He became something of an icon and living legend not only in the film industry in Tamil Nadu but also on the political field. However, let us talk about the karma of this boy from the beginning. This boy's prarabdha karma or slice of karma made him be born in this very talented family of temple musicians. He was christened Soma Sundaram. This boy was not only a talented musician, but right from his childhood he was extremely intelligent and creative by nature. He was an excellent writer who wrote novels and political articles. His novels and articles forever had a message in them, mainly political, and were directed towards the Dravidian community in Tamil Nadu and in South in general. This guy slowly, when he was in his early teens, joined a political party called Dravida Kazhagam. This Dravida Kahan was more militant and radical than political. Because of his cerebral nature and his own talent, this guy chose to join another breakaway from the initial Dravida Kazham, and this breakaway party was called Dravida Munnetra Kazham. Munnetra means improvement both materialistically and spiritually. This party aimed at the improvement of the Dravida community politically, materialistically, and probably spiritually also. Because this boy was extremely talented, he joined the rising Tamil film industry. One of his roommates or his own roommates at that time was a very close person or a friend who would later become a living legend and icon on his own right. He was called MGR or MG Ramachandram. Anyway, this boy, Soma Sundram, because he was a Dravidian and anti Sanskrit, and because Soma Sundram was considered a Sanskrit name, turned it into pure Tamil and called it Karunanidhi. The complete name of this boy was M. Karunanidhi. He was a brilliant writer and an excellent orator. He had already joined the political party. In the year 1952, he wrote a very fiery dialogue for a particular film which was called Parashakti. This not only established him as a prolific writer in the Tamil film industry, but he also came under the mentorship of another brilliant writer called C. Annadurai. This C. Annadurai was a multifaceted personality. He was already rising in the ranks of DMK because he noticed the talents of Mr. M. Karunanidhi. He took him as his own understudy and protege. After some time, this DMK stood for election and in the second election defeated the erstwhile ruling party of Congress, that is Indian National Congress. Thus, C. Annadurai became a chief minister of Tamil Nadu. But alas, this Mr. C. Annadurai contracted cancer and died in 1969 at a very early age of around 58 or 59. As soon as he died, this Mr. M. Karunanidhi took over the reins of the government as well as the party and proved to everyone that he was not only a brilliant writer and a prolific creative genius but also an excellent administrator. He was known to be a very good political leader. He took over the chief ministership of Tamil Nadu from the DMK party. However, let us come back to his karma. Karunanidhi's prarabdha karma gave him a birth as mere Somasundaram in a musical family in Tirukkuvalai, Tiruvallur district of Tamil Nadu. His prarabdha karma made him a very intelligent and erudite boy who became a creative genius. Probably it was his prarabdha karma that made him join the film industry not only as a dialogue writer but also a political party called DMK as a rising young leader. Till here, his prarabdha karma was driving his destiny and karma. However, as soon as Mr. C.M. Annadurai died, the prarabdha karma which helped this boy become the chief minister of Tamil Nadu decided to take a back seat. The front seat was taken over by his free will and kriyamana karma. The prarabdha karma only regulated his kriyamana karma. However, brilliant as he was, creative as he was, intelligent as he was, this boy had one crooked way of looking at things. He had suffered a vice called greed, from which he suffered. As Lord Krishna has said in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, lust, anger, illusion, greed, and ego. These five are the five necessary evils which a human being suffers from. Mr. Karunanidhi suffered from the vice of greed to the point of avariciousness. So much so that because he was brilliant, he engineered his corruption in such a way that one very famous judge said, "This Mr. Karunanidhi has made corruption a genius work or an art. He has converted corruption into a fine art." So much so that it is rumored that this Mr. Karunanidhi had or engineered the whole system in Tamil Nadu in such a way that every commodity sold, produced, or distributed in Tamil Nadu, whether it was vegetables, fruits, meat, cloth, projects, and then construction of temples or bridges, roads, etc., infrastructure. Everywhere this guy used to get a commission on the pretext of the party fund. Instead of putting it as a party fund, this guy used to put a cool trillion in his own pockets. One day, his own best friend, Angela, turned against him when he found that this man was cheating the country blind with his avaricious and unscrupulous corruption. However, this did not deter Karunanidhi from doing what he was doing. He was such a brilliant leader that he mentored his own son, M.K. Stalin, as a future chief minister and political leader, which this guy is as on date. Karunanidhi lived till the age of 95, and it looks as if his prarabdha karma took a back seat at the age of 40, and for the next 55 years only his kriyamana karma monitored his destiny. Now, it is certain that probably his prarabdha karma was completely worked out, but his majority of kriyamana karma was not. A boy who was born merely as a musician in a musical family reached such dizzy heights that he became a living legend and an icon in the political circles in Tamil Nadu. He died at the age of 95, but now his statues appear in the center of the capital of Tamil Nadu, Chennai, and he has had several buildings named after him. In fact, a complete residential colony is named after him. He used his own nephew to start a television channel which is today quite famous and rich, wealthy, and affluent. This guy was born probably middle class, died a billionaire or a trillionaire. This shows how a person's kriyamana karma works, and if most or majority of his kriyamana karma has yet not been worked out, it is going to become a part of his sanchit karma. In his next birth, it will be certainly better politically and creatively than what it was in this particular birth. He will become a seeded player in the material world in his next birth. We must take a leaf out of this man's life and monitor our own life in such a way that whatever intelligence is used for material success must be engineered and focused towards spiritual success for every human living entity. We may be born this time in some position in this society, but that does not mean that we can use our own free will and kriyamana karma to become great people on a spiritual side. Our ultimate aim for each human living entity is to become self realized, liberated, and delivered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Kindly remember what I have said time and again. All great men, both material and spiritual, were once ordinary human beings just like us. But just because of their own deeds and karma, they reach dizzy heights both materialistically and spiritually. We must use the spiritual achievement of dizzy heights like monks, godmen, rishis, maharishis, saints, etc. God has given us a free will to improve upon our own destiny and karma, and we must make the best use of it. Kindly let me know what you think of my talk on this particular case history. Please give me your own expert opinions, thoughts, and ideas and views so that I may blend everything together for the sake of this society. Before concluding, let me remind you that I am also a published author with Amazon Kindle and paperback. I write on spiritualism, fiction, and assorted subjects. Spiritualism happens to be my favorite subject. Till we meet in my next video, it is good morning from TSV Raghavan.